Welcome back to What No One Tells You About Being Chronically Ill, because let's be real, it's a lot. This week we're going to talk about financials. And what I mean by that is people did not warn me of how financially straining a chronic illness could be, whether that is paying for appointments, medications, like things like TENS machines, multiple period patterns, just anything in general. People did not prepare me for that financial burden that a chronic illness would provide. So, like, diagnosed, I was always working a full-time job. I'd always been someone that had always worked multiple jobs throughout like the whole of my life. Like 2-3 jobs was normal. I was always a bit of a workaholic. So being able to like have and save money, like it was something that like I always like had the money like from work to like spend on stuff, but I would just spend on ridiculous stuff. And now looking back, I think I definitely should have saved more money, because obviously when I got chronically ill, I needed that money that I probably should have saved. And I definitely probably think there's more people that hopefully will agree that you probably could have saved money when you're younger a lot better than you did, because I definitely look back and think, oh my god. So like one of the biggest burdens for me was, for instance, like medication, like periods, like patches, period pants, multiple period products, like TENS machines, like heat belts, like all of these tools for holistic and wellness, all that kind of stuff. They are expensive, and you don't really get a lot of good products for cheap these days, which is completely understandable. But that obviously is a financial strain on somebody that is obviously working limited hours, that's unemployed. So I live in the UK, and in England there's something called a prepaid certificate. So basically it's like a medical certificate where you can pay like every single month, every 3 months, or every year, where you can get your like prescription for cheaper. That's still like £15 or whatever it is. I think for the year it costs like 200 and something pound. It's a one-off cost, which means I can get unlimited prescriptions, which is great, but that's still like a large cost for somebody that is unemployed. Like obviously I'm self-employed now, and that is, I'm very grateful to be in that position. But for instance, there's other people that, you know, have had to give up their job. Like this was a situation I was in. Like first of all, like I had to just give up my job, and I didn't really have a backup plan. Didn't really have a lot of money saved, and I was like, I don't really know what to do. And I think it's definitely a topic of conversation that a lot of people in this space want to have, but they're too ashamed to have. And it's definitely something that I've struggled with and I've worried about. But you know, it's something that I think like money and financials and stuff, like people like shy away from talking about it, but like I just think it's really important, especially when you're navigating chronic illness in general. Like it's something that we probably should talk about more. A couple of things you can do, especially in the UK, like obviously you can apply for something called PIP, which is a personal independence payment. I personally applied for it. I got rejected. I've never really spoke about it online because honestly, like I just wasn't ready for the level of hate that I might have got. But I basically got rejected for it, and I've never appealed it because honestly, it was just one of the worst processes of my whole entire life. A lot of people do get it. A lot of people say it's really hard to get first time, and you can appeal it. Absolutely understand that, and I might do that one day when I'm like in a different position, but honestly I was just like no. So I obviously rely on my income now from what I do online and social media and stuff, and obviously that does pay the bills. For a while I was worried. I was just like, how can I find a job being chronically ill that works around my health? Like I take medication. I used to be a night worker. I used to work for the NHS. I used to work for the mental health team, and I was always working with people. So I was like, right, I can't take this medication, or I can't take that medication because I've got to be up for work at 8 a.m. and I'm going to sleep in. And I was always battling with that. So that was a financial strain in itself, because I was always worried about, well, what am I going to do if I don't get to this point? I'd love to definitely know if anybody else has gone through that as well and gone through those thoughts, because it's definitely something that I've battled with across my journey. Just even little things like how much, like I have endometriosis and PCOS, so I've obviously spent a lot on supplements, a lot on like diet changes, a walking pad for at home so I can get my steps in, like TENS machines, like good quality TENS machines, like they're a good like £100, some of them, and it's like it's costs that you just never ever think about, that I think get you and creep up on you. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I would love to know your thoughts and whether you agree with me, but it's definitely a financial strain, I think, being chronically ill, and I'd love to know anyone else's kind of thoughts on it. I think like paying bills, like being the provider, like being someone who's always been the provider and someone who's always paid the bills, so then having to rely on other people, that could be a hard conversation to have as well, and that could be a hard switch up as well, which I think is really crucial. Thank you for watching this week's episode, and stay tuned for the next one, but let me know in the comment section what you want to see next.